How's it going, everyone? Today is the day you guys will finally see some baseline numbers that this car put down on the dyno. Even though we have forged rods and pistons in my 2.0 Camaro, we have not put a new tune in the car since rebuilding the engine. This tune is still based off of a car with no modifications, so it'll be a great indicator of what kind of power this stock turbo is capable of putting down with only a tune. As you saw in a few videos back, we have the catless downpipe and the new ZZP tune ready to go in the car, but we didn't want to put anything on without getting some baseline numbers of the car as is. So anyway, I'm going to guide you guys through what happened on each one of these pulls because dynoing this car was not the smoothest process. Typically when dynoing a car, a good place to give it full throttle and start recording is right around 3000 RPM. Now you can do that in my car all day long in first, second, and third gear, but if you try to do that in fourth and fifth, the car pulls boost away and totally shuts off the power, as you'll see in this clip right here. So that was pull number one, and I was under the impression that we were going to get a printout of each run, so I didn't run over to the screen after that pull to get the numbers, which were 262 horsepower and 386 pound-feet of torque to the wheels. This clip might be hard to hear, but here's AC and the dyno tech discussing the issue before the next run.
If you're on fifth, they're not going to be able to get a full throttle for about 35. They won't, because what's happening is it's pulling through. Yeah, you're going to have to full throttle at 4. So you can roll on at 35, and then by 4, it's all the way on. But yeah, here you go, 400. So see, it's peaking out. Yeah. 400 wheel torque, right? And then the tune is pulling it down. Yeah, okay. So we'll run it all the way up. Now the number is going to be a little bit less, but so you're flowing it at 3. The tune is saying fuck you. Yeah. Then it's putting it back on. That spring is so soft, it's just bouncing back and forth. Yeah.
So the dyno tech deleted the numbers of that pull before we even started the next one because he felt that wasn't a good run because the car kept shutting off power at 3500 RPM in fifth gear. It's kind of upsetting that it didn't get the footage of that torque figure though, because that's a great indicator that with the right tune, it would allow this car to consistently put down over 380 pound-feet of torque to the wheels. To put that number in perspective, I'm going to roll a clip here of a Shelby GT350 that went on the dyno right after I did. This car had a resonator delete and a cold air intake. Now, granted, that Shelby is making way more horsepower than my car, but I thought it was pretty dang amazing that my little 2-liter turbo is capable of producing the same torque figure as the amazing high-revving Voodoo motor in the Shelby that everyone loves. The torque-to-weight ratio and just the initial thrust of the 2.0 Camaro is really incredible. It seems the Camaro's sweet spot for torque is somewhere between 3000 and 3500 RPM. The next two pulls are the ones that the tech printed out for us.
Oh, hand on it, bro.
In order to get a smooth recording on the dyno, he decided to start the pulls from 4000 RPM, which is not ideal for the turbo, but that's what happened. And at least we have now some baseline numbers to beat, which will easily be achieved with the catless downpipe, ZZP's new tune, and our very own turbo blanket for the 2.0 Turbo Camaro. Now you might be thinking to yourself, what the hell is a turbo blanket? For those of you that don't know, it's a sleeve of very thick material that goes around the turbo to keep the insane heat of it in one area and stop it from heating up the engine bay. This is very effective for eliminating most of the heat soak that's associated with turbocharged vehicles, especially the 2.0 Turbo Camaro, which gets it like crazy. Now you can clearly see the drop in power and torque between these two runs on my car on the dyno, which were done right after one another. The more you're on the gas in these cars, the more heat you're creating in the engine, and the power will continue to drop until it cools down, unless those high temperatures can be prevented somehow, like with a device such as a turbo blanket. Strictly LTG and I are actually finishing up our very own turbo blanket for the 6th gen Camaro that'll be available for sale quite soon actually. So with that said, that's going to be about it for this video. Definitely stay tuned because we're putting this car back on the dyno as soon as possible, and next time we do it, it's going to have a nice new healthy batch of modifications. So can't wait for that. And with that, I'll see you guys next time. See ya.